Pastor Matthew Stuckey here from Verity Baptist Church, Philippines. Just giving a quick missionary update. I haven't been doing these every month. We've had our monthly newsletter, so this has been a while since I've done one of these. A lot took place this past month, though. In the past month of August, we had 1,733 salvations. But I wanted to start giving you more detailed results to let you know how we're getting these results. Especially because this is the primary reason why people would donate to our ministry. So I want you to know where the donations are going to, and those that are praying for us. This is the detailed results of what we're doing. We had 169 different people went soul winning at least once with our church. Of course, many of those 169 people went a lot of times over the month. The majority of our church does go soul winning, and this includes not just our church in Manila, in Pampanga, but we also have Bicol and our church in Poland, run by our evangelist brother Mateus. So 169 different soul winners to produce the 1,733 salvations, and the total hours spent soul winning was 1,677 hours soul winning. So slightly more than one salvation per hour. Depending on the result, for example, in Poland, they do a lot of soul winning in Poland. They have a lot of people that go out soul winning, but their salvations per hour are lower because obviously it's less receptive in Europe than it is in the Philippines. But even in the Philippines, as we're sending out 60 soul winners on a Sunday, there's only so many places you can send them. And so it makes it a little bit more difficult. We send to different locations, but there's a lot of soul winners out, and depending on the weather, there might be a different number of people out to talk to. But overall, those are very good results. We're very pleased with that. To break it down to the school ministry versus other soul winning, which would be in your personal life or at parks or soul winning marathons. At the school ministry, we had 90 hours of soul winning in the month of August and 463 salvations. So more than 5 salvations per hour. We have a very strict and in-depth survey we do afterwards to report results. If anything, I think we're probably underreporting based on those results because, I think a lot of people might have trouble expressing things right after getting saved. Nonetheless, we use that survey, 5 questions. They got to nail every question out of the park for us to count as a salvation. And so this month coming up in September, we're probably going to have a lot more hours soul winning at the schools because we've already been in many schools and we have appointments later on this week. And so soul winning outside of the school ministry was 1,270 salvations with 1,577 hours of soul winning. I do think these results are going to be a little bit higher than normal because we did have some people visiting. We had multiple soul winning marathons. But those are our results for the month of August. It is rainy season, but the rain was not a huge hindrance in August. And so it was a little bit, but not that bad. So we had good results there. Some other things going on. We did hit some persecution with our church. Obviously, we're doing a lot of soul winning, so we expect persecution to come. We had a school appointment lined up that we were excited about, and then we were canceled because we believe in eternal security. And so we're just being persecuted for our defense of the gospel. And we also, there was a Baptist pastor arrested for child abuse, physical child abuse, not sexual, running an orphanage. And I made a video just showing that he does not have the right gospel. He believes in lordship salvation, and Baptists often have this attitude, we all stick together regardless of our beliefs. And so somehow I became the enemy as a result, and a lot of Baptists criticize me. So, we've never been the most well-liked Baptist church here in the Philippines by, compared to, in the eyes of other Baptist churches, even more so now, but that's because the majority of Baptists here do not have the right gospel. And most of them are teaching lordship salvation and repentance of sins for salvation. If you're really saved, you would never commit a big sin. And so the salvation is definitely off by most Baptist churches here. And so we are taking a strong defense on the true salvation, easy believism, salvation by grace through faith, once saved, always saved. And it does get us some persecution. And so aside from that, a couple other things to mention. We do have our IFB Bible Clips project. And we've been making those videos in English, Tagalog, and Kapampangan with our church, going back a few months. And, we're kind of waiting to just try it out to figure out techniques, mistakes we're making. And of course, I made a lot of mistakes on how to do this. And now we're getting a lot of people volunteering from our churches to do clips in other dialects of the Philippines. There's also 3 other dialects where we're going to be kind of outsourcing it to other pastors, and we're excited to get started on that. And there's also some languages outside of Filipino languages where you have people that are interested in volunteering. We want to get it into as many languages as possible because there's very little good Bible content in most languages. There is in English. I mean, there's a lot of good information online. Even when I first got saved, there's a lot of great information. But outside of that, there's not. And so I think this is a very important project, especially if you speak a language. If you're a man and you speak a language, we'd love to have you volunteer to help and just get the important doctrines out of salvation by grace through faith and eternal security, not repentance of sins for salvation, not lordship salvation. I think this is very important. So I'm excited about that project. And one other thing to mention is we do have a change in church schedule in our church in Pampanga. We've had 1 week of this so far. We no longer have services on Saturday. Saturday is a bit of a challenge to build a church because most people are working on Saturdays. They're not free on Sunday. And having it on Sunday is going to be a benefit. Now, in order for this to work, I am preaching the services in Manila at 10 and 11:15, and right after the services, I'm driving back to Pampanga, a few hours away, getting here just a little bit after 3, round my family up, we go to the church building, and at 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. we have fellowship. The members of our church are soul winning from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. in Pampanga. And then we have church services at 5 p.m. and 6:15 p.m. And so I'm preaching 4 sermons on a normal Sunday. And that might sound like a lot, but honestly, all day church on Saturday and Sunday, especially with 4 young kids now, and we're having a lot of opportunities to preach at schools and doing things with Bible content, is becoming very draining. We're very busy. I love having all these extra opportunities for soul winning here in the Philippines, but it also means that it's very tiring and very busy. And so having that extra day so we can spend time as a family is vitally important to me. Last thing I would ever want is to lose my family for the ministry. And it's nice to have a bit of relaxation time. And it's also just good for our church because, there are people that just cannot come on a Saturday. So I think this will be good for, the potential of church growth in our church in Pampanga. It worked really well this past Sunday. I didn't feel like it affected my preaching at all. I actually thought the services in Pampanga sermons were better than in Manila. I had energy to go. So it was great. And so if you're going to be visiting our church in Pampanga, we no longer have services on Saturday. We have them on Sundays. As of now, our midweek service is going to remain Tuesday because I kind of like having Wednesday through Saturday, just 4 days, without a church service is actually kind of nice. Of course, we have soul winning throughout the week, but not having an official church service is kind of nice. So for now, we're going to keep the Tuesday service the same. If that changes in the future, I will let you know. But we now have services on Sunday if you're planning to visit. And so things are going great here. We're getting persecution. We have a lot of big plans, a lot of things I'd love to mention, but I don't want to make this video too long. Just please continue to pray for our church, for opportunities, for church growth, for the weather, and all of these things. Anyways, thank you, and God bless.